Welcome to Brad Explain. This time, Brad Explain GURPS Ice Age.
Thank you very much, Greg.
Caveman Greg.
All right, so we have just jumped again, and we are going to be playing GURPS. We're going to be playing GURPS 3rd Edition. Now, GURPS is a game that was designed by Steve Jackson way back in 1986 is when the 1st edition came out. It is by Steve Jackson Games, go figure. 3rd edition, what we'll be playing, came out in 1992. There has since been another one, 4th edition is out, but we're playing 3rd edition. That was, the one that I am very intimately familiar with, played it a ton. So that's what we're going to be doing, playing 3rd edition GURPS. And GURPS it's GURPS, odd name. It actually stands for Generic Universal Role-Playing System. Now, I know role-playing is one word, but we're going to divide it up because GURS was kind of funny. The P was great. I think that's why they decided to go with it. So GURPS is the Generic Universal Role-Playing System. It is a core mechanic that allows you to play in any world, any setting, anything at all, kind of like what we're doing. But we decided not to just play GURPS and jump to the different settings. And if you listen to one of our fireside chats that has come out, we explain why in more detail. That's not why I'm here to do right now. So go listen to that one, and it'll clear that up for you. We are going to be playing in the Ice Age setting. Ice Age, it's not caveman, so don't, the characters aren't going to be jumping into cavemen. It's Cro-Magnon. It is, Homo sapien sapien, sort of a Neolithic as far as technology development. It's not like they don't know how to make fire and they live in caves. They're actually house builders, and they can make fire with the bow and pallet style, rubbing the stick on the wood to get the heat and blowing on it, and it's that building houses and stuff. And it's Ice Age time period, but it is not. They're not going to be living on glaciers and stuff. They're in a temperate zone during an Ice Age period. Roughly, I guess, if you kind of timeline it with Earth, even though it's not per se Earth's history, it would be the equivalent of about 40,000 years ago. So there you go. What kind of things they're going to be dealing with is there's no dinosaurs, there's no magic. They're shamans, so it's sort of like shamanistic totem magic, but it's not real magic. It's basically just herbs and crush these berries and rub it on you, or eat this plant and it'll heal you. That kind of stuff will be going on, not casting spells per se. Getting into the mechanics of the game itself. GURPS is a D6 based game. A lot of the games that are coming out now go off of the foundation of a D20 system. GURPS is a 3D6 system, I guess is the best way to kind of equate it to that. Everything is, a 10 is an average ability, which is similar to that D20 system, but it's way more average. When you roll 3 6-sided dice, it pulls to that middle way exponentially more, literally exponentially more. The chance of you getting a maximum roll on a D20 is 1 in 20. The chance of you getting a maximum roll on 3D6 is something like 1 in 216. So you're going to see critical hits and critical misses, which I typically steer away from in D20 type games, but I'm going to use them in GURPS because their frequency is going to be, 1/10 as often. It's going to be way more rare to do a critical hit or a critical miss, for example. A good roll in GURPS is low. So typically you'll have a skill that is like, we'll say skill level 11. And so you're going to roll 3 6-sided dice, and you're going to want to get your skill or less on that roll. So rolling low is good. And if you roll way low, you could have a critical success. But like I said, it definitely 3D6 pulls to that average of 10.5 pretty heavily. So you'll see a lot of successes that aren't criticals and failures that aren't criticals as well. But good rolls are low, bad rolls are high, 3D6. So, and yeah, you have skills in GURPS. It's a very heavily skill-based game. And everybody can attempt to do things even if they don't have a skill in it, and GURPS lays out a default success or failure based off of abilities. If you don't have that skill, for example, you want to use a spear, but you don't have spear skill, it's going to be a default skill level of your dexterity minus a certain number. So you're not going to be good as even somebody who has the most rudimentary training with spear is most likely going to be better than you. But you can still do it. You just have you're just not real good with it. And it actually gives outlines for that, which is a great headache reliever for DMs who oftentimes were faced with characters wanting to do something that they don't know how to do, and a DM has to come up with some arbitrary solution to that. And then remember that because now he set a precedent to do it, and he's like, okay, well, how did I do that before? Yeah, that GURPS takes care of all that for you. It's really, it really thinks of everything. So it's a great system. Highly recommend playing it if you've never played it before. Its amount of detail can be a little scary at first glance, but just like any RPG, choose what you want to use, choose what you ignore, make a house rules, homebrew this bad boy, because that is really what brings out the best in a DM and the most fun for your players. Okay. Now getting into the characters, I kind of hinted at they're not cavemen. This is Neolithic. This is Homo sapiens sapien. They are basically like us, just sort of shorter versions that don't live as long. The average height back, 40,000 years ago, the average male was like 5'8", 5'7". So, what was considered big and massive back then would be average today, really. But they were a hardier folk because they lived in harsher environments. They didn't have the luxuries that we have today. So just real quick summary. There's going to be 3 characters, obviously. One of them, Nulk, who will be played by Nate, is sort of he's like a hunter. Got tracking skills, stealth skills, bow. He uses his bow mainly. It's a very, short bow. It's not like a long bow or a composite bow. It's just a simple short bow, Neolithic tech level. Greg will be playing a character named Coog. Coog is pretty strong. He's very hardy and strong, even for, compared to other characters. He is a melee brawler. Just beats people over the head with his club kind of thing. Actually, if anybody is he's the closest to that stereotypical caveman ideal, but even Coog is not a caveman. I mean, he's, he can make fire. He's got a vocabulary, a language that communicate. But he's typically the brawler type. And then Cole will be playing the shaman named Akhtar, and he is like I said, there's no magic in this world, but there's totems and there's the belief in shamanistic spiritualness. So, and he's gonna actually be bringing that out. He's got like herbalism and firewalking and rituals and ceremony knowledge and things like that. So he's going to be sort of the healer, I guess is the best way to describe it in traditional RPG terms. But right, he's not casting healing spells or anything, so he's rubbing ointments and cooking up herbs. Oh yeah, cooking the herbs. So yeah, that's basically the characters. If you want to see what they look like and get sort of a picture of their GURPS character sheets, we do post those for every jump, including this one, but every jump, on our site on Podbean, Podbean, Podbean. So yeah, go there, check it out. You can look at the pictures of these guys to get it kind of help you mentally picture what's going on when you're listening to the story. You can also go back and look at all the ones that we've done if you haven't checked it out. It's a great site, got a lot of cool links to it. So, but anyway, let's get on to some GURPS. So thanks for listening, guys, and hope you are enjoying. Keep on listening. That's why you're why we do what we do. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Brad Explains. If you have thing about game for Brad to explain, message us anywhere on internet. What internet is, I do not know. Thank you.